God, I thought we'd never been here. We've been left from Boston yesterday.
Please tell me she's wearing sandals.
I
She is. Oh my goodness.
No, I have matching shoes, but that wasn't.
We'll get a picture
Peg with the class.
Yes.
Maybe at the end of the
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. So you can go in this first chair here. So have you guessed who our 69 Woodstocker is?
Well, I think you just gave it away by saying 69, which.
Oh.
Yeah, I went with my parents. You believe that?
You went with your parents?
No, I'm only kidding.
Oh my gosh.
One of the kids
Like,
said, Miss Carcelo, you weren't old enough for that. I said, honey, I'm almost 70. I was, no. They asked me if I went with my parents.
All right, so while we're waiting for the other two, would you like to start by talking about your experience at Woodstock, what made you decide to go, just in general, what your
Okay.
what you have prepared for your spiel.
First of all, I think I should tell you about getting ready. When I was getting ready to go to Woodstock, all I had to do in the morning was get up, take my birth control pills and my pimple pills and out the door. Oh, today it was blood pressure, heart medicine, you name it. But it was always fun.
She's like our Betty White.
What I did do is I made some program books for y'all. And guess what? There's no essay questions at the end. Take one and pass them around.
We do have a fifth person in here, but he unfortunately is absent today.
Well,
Brayden hasn't made it yet.
I'll leave some here, leave some here.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
These are the posters along the road. Because when we left Boston, I had two friends, they wanted to know if I wanted to go listen to some music. Now this really wasn't my cup of tea, but I said, why not? It's a long weekend, let's go. And nobody knew when we were left for that little pig farm in up New York State that we were going to be part of music history. But we had a good time. I know you've all heard about the different generations. We've had the Flintstone Kids vitamins, we've had Generation X, we've had, you know, the Pepsi generation. Well, Woodstock started another generation. It was the granola generation. Everybody ate granola. And I was trying to figure out what made granola so popular. It was too damn hot to have milk for on top of your...
No, I just have wicked back spasms, so I'm gonna do the
You want the top of your chair?
We didn't
No,
have
I'm
any
fine,
milk
I'm
for
good.
cereal, so we all ate dry cereal. So I bought some granola for you all to
She was 64.
I brought granola for everybody to share.
Brayden always brings food.
He does, for everybody.
And we have a little, everybody had to have a souvenir. Oh, everybody had to have this here too. And if I had realized how much my souvenirs were going to be worth, I would have saved them all.
No kidding.
I just, you'll see here, it was $18 to buy tickets for all 3 days for this event. And some tickets just sold for $1,000 on eBay.
Yeah.
I used my tickets to wipe pig poop off the bottom of my shoes.
Are you serious?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But
But I
pig poop
did.
would have probably been worth something.
Huh?
The pig poop probably would have been worth something.
Well, I also brought a souvenir home to Amanda. This is for you never to forget Woodstock.
Oh my goodness,
I
thank you.
just got the order of, I just got it in.
Wow, thank you. I'll have to play this
Yeah.
in the background.
It was dirty, it was hot, it was smelly, and I just thought it'd be interesting for you to know a little bit about the difference of performers. For example, Jimi Hendrix, who did Star Spangled Banner.
I hear a special song.
Just share my video.
Bring them up today.
He only got paid $18,000 for the gig. Yeah, he wanted a lot more. That's why he didn't play until the last day, because he just wanted more money.
Love to take the call.
Santana got paid $750 to be there. Jefferson Airplane, one pill will make you happy and one pill will make you sad. They got $7,500, and Janis Joplin took a little piece of my heart for $7,500. So you see, they get paid quite a bit less. So let's see. The next year was 99, 94, 94.
So now we have all three of our interviewers here. Can you please just formally introduce yourselves to our class here? So you already met Miss Carlotto. Scarzello. Oh, I'm sorry. You already met Miss Scarzello. Okay.
I'm sorry, I just gotta say, no, that's
This is what was 3 days.
I was so excited to come and talk with you guys, and it's like, they're just taking my breath away. I'm Miss Severino, Jill Severino. I went to Woodstock 1994 for about 5 hours. When? I had to work the next morning. Anyway.
Oh, I'm Kelly Gierico, and I took my son to Woodstock 99. And I was very upset. I was living in Alaska during 94, so I couldn't go to 94.
I think that one was better.
Clearly, probably safer. But when 99 came along and we had moved back to New Hampshire from Alaska, it was definitely on my hit list. So. You're gonna tell about 99?
Oh, I don't know. Is that what we're gonna?
Yeah. So Miss Scarzello. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
She already started talking about her experience at 69. So where I thought we could start starting with her. Was starting with a little bit of your experience, and then the students are going to have time to ask you specific questions that they thought about.
Okay.
Okay. So Ms. Scarzello, would you like to?
Just that it was a long trek to get in there. The traffic jam was forever. It was hot, and we were about, I would say a good 3 miles away from where the stage was. And the smell of fresh pig poop was wonderful. You want to talk flower power? Well, that was it. And as I said, I passed out the granola because that was the granola generation. That's where it started. And I said, I thought it was just dry cereal, and it was just too damn hot to have milk, so I ate it dry. We kind of slept. We all had our bedrolls, and we all slept on blankets, or you'll see pictures of some of the people covered in plastic because it rained at night. And all I could think when I look back at those pictures is how many times did our parents yell at us, don't put that plastic bag over your head. Well, guess what? I was glad to have it. It was pretty much the one stuff, everybody talks about sex, drugs, and all of this sort of stuff. Well, yeah, there was a lot of that, I suppose, but there wasn't as much, I didn't think as much drugs as the press purported to be. But if you ever listen to Don McLean talk about American Pie, he references the air was filled with sweet perfume. Yep, you could smell that mixed with the picture. So, it's, when somebody said, when you talk about it, my husband said, I know that there isn't anything that you forgot. Janis Joplin on stage, Ricky Havens doing Here Comes the Sun, and it was just, Sean Arnott was at the end.
That's so funny.
Because, they made the whole route of bringing back the music, and they were there then, and a lot of people didn't even know who they were. I guess that's why they only got paid $700, but it was fun. It was really fun. The best thing I look forward to was getting home to a hot shower.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, because it was dirty, and we didn't eat a lot because I didn't really want to have to look for bathroom facilities. I don't know, it was with you guys.
Was there too, yeah.
Planned better,
Yeah,
but nobody
yeah.
expected 500,000 people to show up on this little country lane.
Wow. This is just so cool to hear about somebody that actually went to the original Woodstock. So now that being said, Ms. Severino, we talked a lot about in our class with the 69 and 99 Woodstock because there were just so many similarities.
Yeah.
But the good thing, we were really excited to have you come in because we didn't really talk that much about the 94 Woodstock that much, so you're gonna be a really great, valuable
Yeah.
source of information for us.
Oh, great. I don't know how valuable it'll be. I was only there for 5 hours.
5 hours.
But, so it started out like this. It was 1994, and I was 20 years old, and we were celebrating my dad's 50th birthday that weekend. That 94 was, Woodstock 94 was going on. So at that time, we had MTV, believe it or not, and we were watching it on TV, and my girlfriend and I, she was my next door neighbor, we were good friends, we were watching it, and we were like, oh my gosh, we only live like 3 hours away, because I grew up in New York. We only live about 3 hours away, and we're not even there. Like, how can this be going on? Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, we're watching, Young wasn't there, but we were watching them on TV, we were watching all these great rock stars. Joe Cocker was there singing, and we saw it all, and she had pay-per-view, and she had bought the Woodstock on there to watch. So we went over to her house. Meanwhile, all the people are at my dad's 50th birthday party. There was no way I was going to be able to go. You know, all my relatives were coming in and everything to celebrate. And I said, you know, we got to go to this. We have to go. And my aunt and uncle were there, and they were like, oh, you know, we want to go too, but yeah, you girls are just kidding. And so then I said to my friend Kathy, I said, we're going. This is too big of an opportunity not to go. It's right down the road 3 hours from where we live. We got to get in the car and go. So we came out. Party was still going on. We said, we're going to Woodstock. And everybody at the party's like, you girls are kidding us, right? Nope, we're going. So we went and got our shoes, got my sneakers on and everything, hopped in the car. It was myself, my sister, my girlfriend Kathy, and my aunt and uncle. We all hopped in her little Honda Accord. And we made it. We didn't get there until about, I don't know, I want to say it was probably 11:30 at night when we finally got there. And to get there, like you were saying, we parked about probably 15 miles away from Woodstock, where some guy said, we had a lot of trouble getting in. We got lost a few turns and everything. We got to a guy's yard, and he was charging for people to park. So we gave him, I think it was $10 a head or whatever, so we gave him some money. And he said, now you just got to walk, because no cars could get to Woodstock. It was only people, local traffic with the permits on their cars. So we started walking, and we were walking, and we were walking, and we were walking. And we're like, where is this place? We can't find it. We're walking with all these people. Well, this nice couple came by, and they had a little permit, and they said, hop on in. We'll bring you right in there. So we jumped in their car. That was like a godsend. We got in their car. They brought us up to where the gates were, around where the area was. We could hear the music. We knew what was going on. We knew we were close, but we didn't know how close. So we get out of the car, and my uncle said to the guy, there was a guy there, and he had a wristband on, and he said, where do you buy the wristbands? You know, we want to get in. And the guy must have been higher than a kite, and he's like, this is it, you're in, man, this is Woodstock. And we were like, all right, you know, we thought we had to go to buy this wristband, and he was like, you're in. I mean, it was just, you could feel it, you know, right then and there. So we get in, and they had a south stage and a north stage. I don't know if that was similar. And first thing we did, there was this big, huge piece of paper, and I tried to find it on the internet to find out whatever happened with it. We all went up and signed our name on this big, huge piece of paper that said Woodstock 94. So we signed our names on that. And the music was going, and we were there to see it. When we got there, I think it was Metallica was on stage. And so we got to see a little bit of them. Pouring down rain, mud like crazy. None of us had a camera. That was the one thing that I realized when we got there, that nobody had a camera. I ended up finding a camera there, and I was like, oh, I'm not one to steal. I've never stolen anything. But I said, I think I need to steal this camera. It was just sitting there, pouring down rain. So my uncle said, you'd be crazy not to. So I took the camera, and I'm running around trying to take pictures. Well, lo and behold, isn't the camera broken? Serves me right?
No.
Serves me right. It was one of those Kodak ones or whatever, those throwaway ones, the disposable ones. Well, I took it when I got home and got the photos developed. And all it was like kids with their friends and stuff, and they had pictures of the stage, which was neat, which I have a couple here. They were taking pictures of their drugs. I don't know what they were, but there was a lot of pills that they were snapping photos of. So there was a lot of that, and I didn't keep a whole lot of them because they really, later on, didn't have any meaning to me, which I found funny because I just threw them out not too long ago, and then Amanda, you had asked for this, and I was like, oh man, I threw them out. Yeah. So we got to see Metallica. There was, like I said, a lot of mud. People were covered head to toe. We met people from all over the place, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, Missouri, tents, people with 7-month-old babies there. I mean, 4-year-old kids there. Everybody was just there having a good time. Like, everybody was so friendly. Then after Metallica, we got to see all of Aerosmith, which was great because I'm a big Aerosmith fan. So we got to see them. Really great show. But again, it smelled like garbage, between garbage and feces and drugs in the air. I mean, the smell was like just so overpowering. And like you said, you didn't want to have people going to the bathroom outside, so you didn't want to drink or eat too much because there weren't enough bathrooms. They didn't expect, that's what we had heard too. The reason we went is because they didn't expect the amount of people that were there, so security couldn't manage the people, so people were getting in for free. So we were like, shoot, we got a shot, right? Tickets were $135 a piece though for Woodstock 94, or $135 a piece, yeah. And so we got to see, like I said, we got to see Aerosmith, Cranberries. I don't know if you're familiar with the Cranberries were playing. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. And then, I don't want to take up too much time, walking out of there was just as bad. We had miles and miles to go. It was about probably 12:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, no, because we got there. I can't remember the time. Like I said, I was there for like 5 hours. We started walking out. We had a wicked long walk. The buses were shuttling people out to their cars, and the lines were forever long. We couldn't get on a bus, so we said, we're just gonna walk. So we started walking. Guy went by with a pickup truck, and we ran up to him. Hey, can you give us a ride? He piled us into the back of his pickup truck. He drove us out to our cars, and got home, slept for about an hour, and then woke up and went to work. I had to be to work by 11:30 that morning. So, yeah, so that was the experience. And I did have, the only thing that I kept, I had a nice tea, but it popped and I couldn't find the bottle. I know it's somewhere. But they did, because your Woodstock, I believe, was one dove. Woodstock 94, they replicated with 2 doves. So we had the 2 doves on ours. So that was kind of neat. Yeah, a lot of the same things. And then the performer list, they had, it was went from August 12th until that Sunday. Blues Travelers, you guys are probably familiar with. I don't know, I'm probably dating myself, but there was a lot of ones on here that you might know. I don't know, but a lot of them I didn't know. Salt and Pepper was there. Spin Doctors, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Peter Gabriel, Green Day was there. A little picture of Green Day. They had a 9 Inch Nails. I think I had 9 Inch Nails was there. But the mud, if you guys want to just get an idea of. I'm sorry, I can't move. I get up and pass it around, but that was what it was like as soon as we walked in. Yeah. And then, let's see. I'm not going to show all these, but the 9 Inch Nails guy, he was covered in mud because they were throwing mud up on the stage. Are they doing that there too? You guys have? Yeah.
We had mud. Yeah. And people in the front didn't want to go to the bathroom because they didn't want to lose their seats.
Yep.
Okay, so it's a lot like the other one.
Yep. It was a good time. It was a good time. And then, of course, I brought the CD. I'm sorry I didn't bring one for you. But you're welcome to borrow it.
I'm going to have to download all that.
Go for it. It's a 2-disc CD. And it's Woodstock 94, and it's got all the performers on there.
Jill, do you mind if I borrow?
Not at all. Please do. Please do. I
was in college, and I was a sophomore in college, and I was like, I really should go. And I had some friends but we were in Key State.
Oh,
we were like,
a little long of a ride, huh?
Too long.
But the funny thing is when I was, and I encourage you guys to do this anytime. I never do this. I'm not a journal person. I'm nothing like that. But when I went home, it was such an amazing experience that I did Woodstock 94, Peace, Love, Music, and Mud. And I wrote about my entire experience, 5 hours there. But I journaled everything, and just the mud and the people and the smells, and it was just.
Is this for consumption?
Yes. And the funny thing was, is I ended it with, maybe I'll be lucky and make it back in another 25 years when I'm 45 years old. I'll be looking forward to it. And I'm 42 now, so maybe in another 3 years, I'll be able to go, so.
So
Yeah.
that is actually a really great segue, Ms. Jericho. I'll have to
Yes.
talk in a second.
Now, can I say with Miss Jericho, when she told me, 'cause we talked about it, I'm going to Woodstock, because we were working together at that time, and I was so flippin' jealous that she was going. And then I was like, you're brave.
And the principal thought I was insane.
Oh, God.
He said, "You are not going to that."
Why not?
I said, "Yes, I am."
Yes. Go
I'm
for
sorry,
it.
you.
Oh, no, it's fine. So our class project, another big reason why we're doing this, because as a class, we are designing the Woodstock 50th anniversary. And we are currently in the process of creating that event. And we're going to have a bulletin board out there to promote the event. So if everything turns out right, Woodstock 50th anniversary does actually happen, you'll be the first to know.
That would be awesome. Thank you. I'm excited.
So today, like, this information is gonna be really great because we'll be able to take all of your experiences and kind of incorporate the spirit of Woodstock into our project. Great, so Ms. Jericho.
Let's bring in the pig. The pig.
So, I went, this was the deal. I had a son who was very much into music, and so he really wanted to go to Woodstock. He was going into his sophomore year in high school, and it was over that summer. And so the deal was, him and his friend take the barn, and I would bring them to Woodstock. So
I did not know that.
yeah, the tickets were $150, and then you paid like a $30 fee for each one. It was like $180, and so his friend was kind of being a nudge and not participating in the painting the barn part. Well, come to find out, he was afraid to go to Woodstock, which is fine. And believe me, you should be very afraid from what that turned into. So that was fine. I helped Corey paint the barn, and we went to Woodstock. And we went for 5 days. We got there on a Thursday, and when we parked, we were right up by the boards. I mean, we had gotten really close in. It was bumper to bumper traffic and all of that, as you can imagine. And it was quite a haul from here to go. And the first place, once we got in the gates of these mobs of people, there was 225,000 people there. What it was an Air Force tarmac. So there were no trees. It was tar, and it was in the 90s every single day. I looked the color of her sweater by the time I got home. My daughter was only 11 months old, so my son was in charge of her, and me and my son trucked on with it was a little 3-person tent that we had been using since he was 2, and we used to go camping in. That was also the demise of the tent.
Oh, no.
The tent stayed. Very symbolic. But when we first got in there were people everywhere, and we picked a spot to lay our tent down, and right away I got this uneasy feeling by this guy beside me. And you do have to, especially if you were to be the protector in that situation, you have to have your guards up at all times. Just being a woman or a man in a situation with the mob like that, you really have to be aware of your surroundings. Not a good idea to start pumping drugs and have no clue what's going on. But so I got this uneasy feeling by this man beside us. So Corey and I took our tent all set up, and we trucked away from this area and we plopped it, and there was a little patch in the middle of all these tents, and I'm like, yes, okay, we're gonna be safe here. And the music was nonstop. It was amazing. Other than being really hot, and they were charging $4 a water for a bottle of water. And their idea at Woodstock 99 was to make money. And it was $5 for a beer. So a lot of these people are like, why would I pay $4 for a water when I can get a beer for $5? So your mentality level there, you know, the young people mixed with, the air was so thick of pot. I had such a headache from just breathing it. And the sun, and being dehydrated, because as much as I was paying $4 for those waters, you can only, again, you didn't want to have to go to the bathroom. There were porta potties lined up. They did have a couple of water fountains set up, but people were so angry because of the long lines of them. They ended up getting busted. They broke them, and then the water would go everywhere. And so then it was this mud fest. And some of the porta potties got knocked into that. It was, I don't want to tell you all, it was set up for disaster is what it was. There were like 400 police officers that started out, which for a crowd of 225,000, that's not going to do a lot. And what a lot of the security guards did, because they saw how outnumbered they were, they just walked off.
They went home.
So they walked off, so there was even less. The only thing that I am so thankful for is what we ended up doing. I had such a headache that I had to get off base and get some Excedrin or something. And I really just wanted to go to the bathroom in a real bathroom instead of a porta potty. So we got off base, we went into town, and same thing was going on in that town, because all these people had taken over this small town. And there were porta potties outside of Burger King. You couldn't find a real bathroom to go to the bathroom in. And I had taken off my fanny pack and gone, I went into Burger King and realized immediately that I left my fanny pack in the porta potty with all my money, everything.
Oh my gosh.
And I ran past the line and went up and started beating like a mad woman on the porta potty, and I'm like, open the door! And you know, this thing starts rocking, and so the guy's like, okay. He was standing up on top of the thing going through my, you know, and I, you know, he's like, here, you know, you're crazy lady. And so I got it back.
Yeah, we'd never mess with the crazy Kelly.
No, not gonna mess with me or my little cubs. So that was good. And what happened when we went to go back on the base, they said you can't come back on the base. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, you know, and now I'm in tears, and I'm like, oh my God, and everybody was gonna charge you $50 to park in their yard, and I didn't have $50, and so I was a mess. And finally, there was a church that had parking for free. So we parked in the church parking, and they bussed us in. And why I'm so thankful for that is because when we get to the end, you'll see why. It was good that they were able to get us out of there. But the music really did drive the mood. The music in Woodstock 99 was much different than the music in the original 69, where it was peace, love, and what have you. But they would have, like, they had like Alanis Morissette, or they had a couple mild singers on, and then they'd put on what was that?
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit, and you know you know, and then the crowd went nuts, you know, and they'd start, and then there was a mile and a half in between stages. And so, you know, again with the heat and dehydration, but my son was always wanted to see the band on the opposite stage. So we'd start going over, and there's these tall, like, tractor trailers, just the back ends, and there were naked women up there dancing away on them. And Corey suddenly wasn't interested and forgot what music he was going. I'd be like, okay, Corey, remember you really wanted to hear this band. Okay, I just need to sit down a little bit. So, I mean, sometimes I go, what was I thinking? But it was the coolest thing I've ever done in my life, and also the most disgusting thing I've ever done in my life, all at the same time. Because porta potties started getting tipped over into that water that had gone down, and then people were rolling around in it. The marsh pit, if you went down into the marsh pit, which I never recommend you doing, unless it's a small venue. But girls were being raped. There were assaults. And then by Sunday night, that's when the looting started, the fires started. I don't know if any of you have Googled pictures of, do Google image Woodstock 99, and the pictures will blow you away. It was all telecast on TV. So my husband is at home watching all of this. And his friends are calling him from New Jersey going, what are you, an idiot? You let her go to this? And he's like, you don't know my wife. You don't tell her she can or can't. She's going to do what she wants. But by now we had left the tent, and we decided we were okay with that. Again, it was Sunday night. But, and we had a blanket, and Corey goes, Mom, grab the blanket. Red Hot Chili Peppers came on, and they had done a song, they passed out candles. It was supposed to be a peace thing. And, you know, they came on and did, I don't remember the song, and they had done, the best article to read on Woodstock 99 is in, what's the magazine, the music? Rolling Stone has an excellent article. It'll say like the top 20 things that happened at Woodstock 99 that would blow your mind. But then they came out and did Fire. And they were even hesitant on it, and they said that, should we do it, you know? And they went with it, and suddenly there were towers starting on fire. They started the vendors. They revolted against the vendors and started their places on fire. Part of the stage was on fire, and Corey was like, we gotta go, Mom. And so we went over to the line, and there was a line of buses coming in to get people out of there, and just as our bus was leaving, SWAT team buses were coming in. So was there awesome music in the midst of all this? Absolutely. I fell in love with Creed. Aerosmith was there. They had the guitarist that played with, one of the guitarists that played with Jimi Hendrix. They had some awesome entertainment, but they were not prepared. The venue was not set, and they had said that they would never do one again. So it'll be interesting to see if they do a 50th. And I was thinking about this last night, because having a daughter, would I bring her? No.
Good question.
No, I wouldn't bring her. And she's like, I want to go with friends anyway. And I'm like, I wouldn't let ya, you know? But it's something, you know, you wanna go with a group of friends that are like-minded and have their heads together and not going there to trip. There was one cool thing that I thought was a lot of women had body paint where they didn't have clothes on, but it looked like they had clothes on, but it was all paint. And I thought that was awesome. I mean, it was very artistic and well done. But even at Personal Pan Pizza was $12. They were gouging these people. These people were angry. Some of the music was angry, which music sets your mood. You know, you can be in a mellow mood and you're gonna put something on calm. You got a lot of energy, you turn something up, and then you've got a lot of the angry bands like the 9 Inch Nails, Limp Bizkit, those that were just driving force. Kid Rock got up there and he's like, throw the bottles of water. So everyone's like throwing bottles of water. They should have kept, which I don't know what his point of that was, up on the stage. And in Red Hot Chili Peppers, Flea came out stuck naked, of course, because that's what Flea does. And there were some things you don't need to see in their life, and that was probably one of them. But it was I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we got bussed out. We slept in the car a little bit while we could till morning. We got all the way back home. It was like an 8 or 9 hour drive. We were both delirious and giggling and just, I don't know, probably breathed too much air. And we no more got home, and Corey had gotten undressed and he was covered in a rash.
Oh my gosh.
So we got dressed and went to the emergency room to find out what had happened. And it was whatever's in the ground, the sand fleas or what have you on top of that. So it was just, but it was an awesome experience. But again, it was not the peace, love, and that it was meant to be. It was really, it was an angry event.
Can I ask you a question, both of you? Upon reflection of this, I've reflected many times, does it never amaze you that you've grown up to be halfway respectable adults? You know, I lived long enough to be a halfway respectable adult.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I think it helps you in being well-rounded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean,
Can truly appreciate
the
everybody
things
else.
I did in high school that I probably shouldn't have lived through more than Woodstock, so.
Yeah.
Wow. So I think especially after hearing all three of you talk, like, can you like now see like how it progressed into like,
Chaos.
you know, chaos? Like it went from, you know, Mrs. Scarzello with their, you know, peace, love, happiness in an outfit like this.
Flower power, you
Yes.
know?
So I think this is a good place to start our interview questions. This has been awesome to hear all of your stories. We're going to start with Lacey because she does both, so she's going to need to leave at 10. So we'll start with.
Did you help clean up after? Like, I guess, yeah. Did you say?
All I
That's a good
wanted to
question.
do was clean up myself.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I was only, like I said, I took off and it was still going on, so nope, not for me. There was a lot of cleanup that needed to happen, I'll tell you.
Would you do it again?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Well, if I was 47 years younger, I would.
I'd go back if they had another one.
Did you make friends? Like, are you still friends with the people that you made friends with?
I went with friends, and yeah, we still all keep in contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went with my sister and friends, so yeah. Yeah. Like,
But did you like talk
We
to
didn't, it
people?
was just me and Corey, so.
Did you like talk to people there? And like, you know, like the other people like in the crowd that you wouldn't like?
Yeah, we met some people from Sweden. Yeah, and people from Michigan, of course, that tickled me because that's where I started from. So it was, they were like they said, they were like from all over. And for this one being the first of the Woodstocks, people weren't expecting this major blowout that happened, but these were people that liked certain musicians and they wanted to come and hear them.
Yeah, and for me, I didn't meet anybody from any other countries, but like I said, I wasn't there long enough, but I met a man who was from New Jersey, and he was the one who brought his 4-year-old son and his 7-month-old daughter, and I remember that really stuck with me, because they were all in a tent. He had his wife there and everything, and it was pouring rain, and so I remember giving him a garbage bag, because we had extra bags to put over so we could stay out of the rain. But, and people from Missouri and things like that, around the States, but nobody from different countries. I'm sure there were people there, but, Sure.
What was your favorite performance?
Mine was Janis Joplin, A Little Piece of My Heart, and the Jefferson Airplane with White Rabbit. One pill makes you happy and one pill makes you sad.
Mine was Aerosmith, but I saw a couple of them, but I love Aerosmith. But it surprised me, because I don't know that Aerosmith cleaned up their act like I've seen them a number of times in concert, and they were a little bit,
Raunchy.
yeah, a little bit raunchy, thank you, in the beginning years. And I think that, if I remember correctly, there was a lot of like swearing and F this, like you were mentioning, Mrs. Jericho, about how the music sets the mood, the performers set the mood, and they were kind of getting people riled up a little bit more. Now, I think they're a little bit more enjoyable, I guess, less of the like violent-ish type feeling, I think, behind. I mean, they've always been good, don't get me wrong, but I was a little surprised by all the swears and everything that came out of their mouths. I mean, a little bit, I can handle a lot of swears, trust me. That doesn't get me, it's not like, oh no, they said the F word, no. But I mean, it was like non-stop. And that to me was just kind of a turn off with them. And I was a little disappointed, but.
Yeah, it was fresh in that.
Yeah, but I've seen them since then, and they haven't been like that, so.
I've seen Aerosmith about 12 times.
Have you?
And,
I haven't seen that many, so don't speak.
What a surprise, Ms. Dare.
And so I think it was probably the venue,
The venue.
that was, I did see some of that in also Woodstock 99 with them,
Yeah.
which wasn't a normal, but I think my favorite was, I fell in love with Creed. I did not know who they were before then. Someone was Scott Slap, oh my God. And Red Hot Chili Peppers was amazing. So those were my favorites.
Let's move on to Jordan. I don't know the questions I have written down. I feel like you guys covered, but how close did you guys get to the stage?
Ooh, good question.
That's an excellent question.
It depends on who was playing. I mean, when Willie Nelson was up there, you could have gone up and touched him. There wasn't a lot of people around.
That is awesome.
But there was a marsh pit, and we obviously wanted to stay away from that because, I mean, this isn't like a room. This is like a school full of people. I mean, if you think of no walls in this school and just jam head to head with people. We stayed up on the hill right to the left. So we were very close to the stage. We were in front of MTV setup. Carson Daly was doing the show live for MTV. We were pretty close to him and to the left of the stage, but never did we go down into but it depended, like, who was playing.
Yeah, it was same here.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't get close when Aerosmith was on. But then there was somebody in between, I think Aerosmith and Cranberries, and like there was no way. Everybody kind of cleared out and went and dove in the mud and did all kinds of things like that. But I was probably like 1.5 miles, 2 miles back.
We got up as close as I would say, like from here to the middle school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But, you sort of walked and moved through
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. You didn't stay for very long because people were pushing and stuff, and sooner or later you'd had enough to drink and you needed to go find a bathroom. But as I said, a lot of the people that had the $8 tickets were right up front, and they weren't moving for anything. I mean, it was not uncommon to see some girl squatting or some guy deciding he had to pee, and I said, I'll move a little back.
They probably didn't have Depends then. If they went now,
I know. That'd be the way to go.
Well, it was, you're talking to a woman that was born and raised in the Midwest, and this wasn't something that you saw regularly. So it was a little fun.
Wait, can I ask one more thing?
Sure.
Did you guys dive in the mud?
No.
No.
Did
You
not.
have to dive drive in
No,
it to
it
be
was
covered
just-
in it.
yeah.
People were running around and plopping, and it was hot, and it was rainy, and then it got hot again, and you were like an Adobe person walking around covered in mud.
Yeah.
We didn't have any rain. We probably would
Oh,
have
that
prayed
would've been
for it.
nice.
But
Yeah.
that part was nice, but the 90 degrees and no trees was,
Oh,
was not nice.
And you said you weren't even in like a field or anything, it was like a blacktop.
Yeah.
It was a black tie. It
Oh,
was,
it's bizarre.
it
That
was,
would've
yeah, it was really, it was an Air Force base. And if you went down to the other stage though, they had more of the newcomers, like actually Green Day. I think Green Day played on that other stage. But they were they were great artists, but they were less of the mainstream. They had a little coverage down there, you know, that a lot of people were, but there were so many people trying to get under it that it took away the point of trying to get cooled off. But no mudsliding for this girl.
Tucker, what about you? What are some of your questions?
What do you guys think was could you like hear the music of where they were?
Oh, yeah, you can hear the music from, what, 3 or 4 miles out. And the thing of it is, I mean, they have better acoustics now, but there was a lot of like reverberation going, and like they were saying, it was constant music. And by the time the echoes of this fellow stopped, the next people were on stage. So it like just barely even, you didn't even have silence in between like you would at a rock concert where they say, okay, she's going to put her 27th costume change on and we'll be right back. This didn't happen.
No. Even when you were sleeping, there was music
Music.
playing at one stage or the other. It was constant. And if you look up if you Google image for Woodstock 99, you will see like the majority of the stage burned, but somehow those amazing speakers, I mean, they must have been bolted,
Oh, yeah.
cemented and everything else. They're still standing. So,
I'll hear the music, and the nice thing about the 94 one was they had the big screens too, where you
Yeah.
could see the performers. So even if they looked like little ants on the stage, you could see them on the screens. I'm sure 99 had that too.
yeah, they had them on both sides of the stage.
If anybody has any other questions for me, I gotta travel. But
I just have one, Peg. I showed you the final morning of Hendrix playing the Star Spangled Banner, and there was hardly anybody left.
right.
It was pretty cleared up, but you were still there.
We heard him, we didn't stay and watch him on the van, we were walking away and we could hear what was going on. And when you talk about angry music, he was probably the most passionate, is that a nice word to use, as we left. But he had demanded so much money to appear there that they were negotiating the whole time. And then they finally agreed if he appeared on the 4th day, which was cleanup day, they would give him $18,000. So the rest of the people that got $5,700 or whatever were there for everybody. And here's somebody that everybody wanted to see at the last morning when people were packing up their car and the Boy Scouts were coming in with their garbage bags. And Jimi Hendrix was there.
And I wonder if anybody realized how iconic that
I don't think
particular
they did at
play
that
would be.
time.
Because
I
now
don't-
it's the
Right.
wow.
That's one of the pictures that, you know, you have, is you have Hendrix there with his fringe hanging down and just going to town. But I don't think, at that time, I think there was more angry people that he didn't come earlier. And why
Yeah.
was he holding out for money when all these people came all this way to see him?
And then he died not long after. So
Did you have anything before I leave?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, after seeing how bad the weather was the entire time, if you ended up getting sick, or you seen like the conditions in general, if you had to end up getting sick when you left your home.
No, I come across more snot lockers here than I did at Woodstock, thanks. You know, I think we were younger and we could ward off the germs faster.
And if you guys stayed up all night for the performances at all?
It was kind of who was going to be next and who we wanted to see, but you kind of catnapped here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Wasn't
stretched
any
out in the
place.
heat of the day, you tried to, and there were no trees at all there. There was a couple of, you know, yeah. And it just, there wasn't really any place you could go to cool off. You certainly weren't gonna walk 2.5 or 3 or 4 miles back to your car.
Now, did you have a program of what time people were playing?
Yeah,
or-
they had it posted who was up next. It wasn't a, yeah, we had a kind of an
Like
official.
today there'd be an app.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, siesta. But they were saying even back then, 25-cent hot dogs were selling for $1. So I mean, that was expensive for hot dogs then. But they ran out of food, and as I said, granola was born. And it just, I don't even know where it started, but they were passing around granola and big bottles of water, you know, the gallon jugs. And you were supposed to drink out of it. And I said, no thanks. I didn't.
Oh, I would have drank it. I would
Yeah.
have drank it.
Oh, it's from a Mexican river? Okay, just kidding.
It's better than what I got right
Did
now.
you purchase a ticket? Or
Yeah.
did you, okay.
And I got 3 of them. We did the $6 tickets.
Before
Welcome
Ms.
to
Costello
Woodstock.
goes,
Yeah.
and we'll continue the interview questions with Joe and Kelly.
Okay,
Can we
thank
get a
you
picture
all.
of all 3 of you with the kids? That would be
Sure.
super awesome.
Sure. Yeah, so if you guys want to get up from your seats and stand around that.
I don't have to move.
You guys don't have to move.
Oh, you gotta sit
Try
down
to
in
make
front
it
with
look
your
like
legs
you're
crossed.
Yeah, she's always, yeah, you as well, miss.
Okay.
Please, Kelly, come on in.
Let me put my
Okay.
Now that I know she's not contagious.
1, right, 2, 3. Awesome sauce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh,
Exciting.
this is.
Let me know for the 50th, I'll be there.
Oh, yeah, no
We're
doubt.
gonna plan in contact.
We're gonna
There
make
you go.
$1 million.
Okay. The last one I went to was the 25th reunion of the Beach Boys. And the funniest thing there is you see guys in their wingtip shoes and pinstripe suits listening to the Beach Boys, and I said, boy, are you phonies?
Pictures too, nothing great, but it's the
Awesome.
stage from '94.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Then this one I actually got off the internet.
Enjoy
This one was from the camera I stole. This one's off the internet just to show how muddy and stuff it all was.
All right, so, did anybody have more questions for pertaining to 94 and 99, or just a general question?
Like, seeing how expensive the food was, that's almost I needed.
Did you what?
Purchase any of it at all.
Yes,
Well, you would have had to, right?
we
You were
had
there.
to. We were there for the whole 5 days, so.
Did they allow food in?
They did allow food in, but you would have had to drag the cooler and
Yeah.
all of that, and we really didn't know, you know, we were just like, yeah, we're going, and
Yeah.
it seemed like a good idea at the time. But yeah, we just, thank God they took credit cards, because it was just like, but, yeah, we had to, and like I said, when we went off base and we got some munch stuff, you know, that we could bring back. But again, you weren't real hungry because it was so hot. And you didn't want to go in those porta potties, especially by day 2.
And for me, yeah, we didn't eat. We weren't there long enough. But we did, like I said, I did get an iced tea at one of the outside, you know, Cumberland Farms or whatever, and they were promoting Woodstock, so they had the tie-dye cans with the Woodstock 94 on it and everything. So I did get one of those, and but yeah, we didn't have any reason to eat. We weren't there long enough.
One thing that was very cool, talking about Jimi Hendrix, is they did have, they had a traveling trailer of Jimi Hendrix there, which had, it was like a museum. You walked in, and it was all air conditioned. So we went through that a few times. But it had, you know, his guitars and some of his, he was a small man, some of his costumes and stuff. And that was pretty cool to have that there.
Going, I think, I forgot what the question was about. I don't know, there was a question that came up, I forgot, what was your, I can't remember one of your questions about, was it about staying overnight?
Yeah.
or-
Staying home.
Oh, if you stayed up all night, okay,
Yeah.
that's what it was. So, even though I didn't,
Did
I
you
wasn't
stay
there.
up for all 5
I
hours?
did, but, shush you. But the funny thing was, like I said, we had my dad's 50th birthday party. We hopped in the car. We went to Woodstock for 5 hours. got home, I slept for an hour, went to work, and that night I went to a John Mellencamp concert in Saratoga Springs, because that's where I live. So John Mellencamp at the time, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But you guys don't know who John Mellencamp is? Come on. Little ditty about Jack So anyways, but it was interesting because he was all against Woodstock. His whole message for his concert was how it was all, it was all, for the money and everything, and he was very much against Woodstock. So I felt kind of silly being there because I was like, hey, I was at Woodstock for 5 hours before I came to see you. But it was interesting how it was another take on what the musicians were doing in Woodstock. It was interesting. Yeah.
Good. All right, Tucker, did you have any more questions? Or are they pretty much all answered?
They're all
Okay, all right. Jordan, can you pull out our class questions?
I feel like they've already covered all of that. Like that was like they were saying it when their experiences, like conditions about food and sleeping and. I have one more question, Ms. Yurko. Did you go all 5 days without a shower?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
I
could not do
Oh,
that.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't.
That's got
stinky.
no doubt with the heat.
What we did, actually, when we went to, that's not true, because when we went, if you call this a shower, when we did end up at the church thing, they had outdoor showers, like people were just rinsing in. And so, and we had our clothes and everything in the car. So we went ahead and just rinsed off. We didn't have shampoo or anything with us. We just rinsed off once. Yes, I did have deodorant. Thank you. Although at some point, nothing's gonna help that stink. But yeah, the shower, I remember stopping in Brattleboro, Vermont for breakfast at Friendly's. And like I said, we were totally delirious. We were giggly, and just looking at someone could make us giggle, or we'd think about an experience and we'd just be silly. And we must have looked like we were homeless people by then, and people were staring at us like, and again, like I was the color of her sweater. I look at that picture now and I go, oh my God, look at me. I was so dark and just fried. It's all I can think of when I see in movies is when they make fun of the people with the leather skin because they've been in the sun too much. That's definitely what we looked at like. You could just see the whites of Corey's eyes. So, but yeah, it was really, we didn't shower at all. So we really appreciated it when we got home.
Definitely.
Yeah, but then it would have all turned to mud.
Yeah, which is exactly what we were in, so, and that was not fun.
Please excuse the interruption.
What
Will
do you-
all juniors please report to the media center for career panel discussion?
Oh, can you
All
hold,
juniors
guys, can you hold
media
just for a
center.
second?
Thank you.
It won't take you long to get there, it's right there.
No, I mean like this.
What do you think would have made, like, what do you think, Kelly, especially with 99 and the violence? I mean, the difference between the 25th and 30th anniversary was pretty significant, I think. What do you think, if there was to be a 50th, what do you think that they would need to do to make conditions safer, like as far as a venue, as far as security, as far as, what do you think, if they wanted to truly relive 69, which they tried to do in 94, and I think they did it more effectively in 94 than 99, but what do you think has to be, they need to address if they were to do it?
They would need a place that actually had shade. They would need more medical tents.
Hold on, guys, since you're planning the 50th,
Yeah, this
you
is
want to
really
take
good
these
stuff
things
to
down.
down.
Because
They-
you're looking at venues and things.
They need a venue with shade and more medical tents. They need to have planning of security for this. I mean, they did have security, but 400 for 225,000 people, is not going to work. And when a lot of the security people they hired, which they probably hired for $9 an hour, something cheap, just to get them, not professional cops, police officers. they're walking off the job, probably out into the crowd to enjoy the music instead of, because they knew they were outnumbered. So they really, really need to hype up police presence. I just feel horrible when I hear about girls in marsh pits being gang raped and not feeling that there was anything they could do because they couldn't. They were outnumbered, you can't move. And they were pleading from the stage, please, these are your brothers and sisters, there's people hurt out there, and people were out of control. So they need to have reasonable food, ample water, even if it's not bottled water, to have water facilities that people can actually drink and not be dehydrated, or having the choice of a $4 water or a $5 beer.
Misters or something, maybe to keep the crowd cool all the
They,
time. Like,
yeah,
some misters, you know?
misters. They did hose people down a few times.
A question, but we had, I remember, you said something about using credit cards. They had Woodstock money in '94, where you could only buy things with Woodstock
Really?
money.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know
So
that.
yeah, it was some kind of, and I, again, wasn't there long enough, but I remember I had some of the Woodstock money that you had to trade in to buy souvenirs. And that's the only way, and I had it, I wrote it in here and I was reading about it last night, but that's the only way you could buy souvenirs is with the Woodstock
my
money. So I
God.
can't remember, we
So if
must
you
have.
didn't have that,
We
you
must
were-
have traded in our money and gotten Woodstock money somehow, but at the time, they didn't take credit cards or anything like that. I don't remember them doing that, but, so that might be something to think about too. I don't know what the advantages and disadvantages are of that. Maybe something you want to research, to see if there's pros and cons, I don't know, but.
They needed more food vendors, more varieties, but more food vendors. I mean, it was ultimately, you get a salad or you can get a personal pan pizza, and it was $12 either way, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
What did you feel about when it came to the lodging situation? Like, what would be an ideal situation for rooming? Like lodging?
I think for Woodstock, really, you can't have,
Like Woodstock.
one
Yeah,
thing,
would that be nice?
one thing that did happen in '99, another thing that was horrid, like Alanis Morissette couldn't even get a room because it also happened to be right, poor planning, what was going on in the area because it was close to Cooperstown. And it was a big Cooperstown weekend where they had some great big, I don't know what they do in Cooper, it's the
Baseball Hall of Fame.
Right, Baseball Hall of Fame, so they had a huge event there, so a lot of the hotels in the area had booked months in advance, and it wasn't because of Woodstock, it was because of this Cooperstown. So even when people were, and I wonder about that now, I go, Alanis Morissette, she needs a new agent, man. If she has a hotel, somebody has to turn away Alanis Morissette, but, so that was another factor. Is the area big enough? Like, I can't imagine what that, because that town was embarked upon, you know, and so what is in the community around you that can accommodate this kind of, that's Anchorage, 225,000
Yeah,
people.
no
I mean,
kidding.
that is
New Hampshire.
a big, yeah, it's probably New Hampshire.
Yeah,
Like
no,
a
it's
tiny
probably
little, like,
Manchester
2
or
mile
something, right?
space, right? Like, how big were the?
The stages were 1.5 miles apart, and,
I don't know how big mile-wise.
yeah, I
That's
don't-
good for us to
Socrates
think about
was-
too.
Or yours was in Rome, right?
Rome.
New York? Yeah, it's a lot of farm area there.
Oh,
A lot
yeah.
of farm fields and.
but definitely trees for shading, you know, and I'm experienced now, so I would definitely be bringing a cooler of water, but then when you leave your tent, I mean, who's to say it's gonna be there
Right.
when you get back, you know?
Do you think that things like like the fencing has been an issue, it seems, for all three, like as far as access in? They ripped down portions of the fence in 69, and I'm sure that there were people that did not pay to get into 94 and 99.
No, we didn't pay at all.
I think 99, they had, the fence was huge. It went way up, and we were all going, I don't know as getting in free was a problem at that one as much, but by the end, that was all burned down. They started burning down the whole wall. It was all, yeah.
Could you believe when you saw the pictures after both events? Because then the reports came out, you were like, oh my God, that's where I was. I was there, like, especially the burned out trailers and the flipped over police cars and, the news reports that came out after. I can imagine your mom must have been like, we're there, you were there.
I just keep thinking how thankful, especially where the cars were tipped over because they were very close. That could have very well been our car. I just think somebody was looking over us to get us off of base that day. Even though I was so upset and crying because I'm like, how are we going to get back on? I'm not going to be, I felt it wasn't even that I didn't have the money to pay them because I did have some cash in my wallet, but it was like, I am not going to let one more person rip me off on that. It was more the feeling, I was angry about that, saying, you're going to pay $30 or $50 to park in my yard. No, you are not going to do this to me, So, I was thankful for the church and thankful that we got our car out of there because we wouldn't. We would have had to have stayed there. There's no way we would have gotten out of there that night. We would have had to endure that night with the cars being turned over and everything. And everything was pretty much on fire by the time we left anyway. But to see massive buses coming in with cops with raid gears, it's like
I think going back to some of the things that might make it better too, the buses. I remember in 94, the buses trying to get out, there weren't enough buses for all the people that came because they weren't expecting that many people. And there was like 350,000, I think, at 94. But the lines to get out of there were just, the buses couldn't keep up with the amount of people trying to get in and out. So I don't know if that would be something that, you could, for the next one, that they could look at increasing.
I think they did a good job on the busing.
Did it really? So
in
they must have fixed that
99.
problem.
Well, and we had like 100,000 less than you
True,
did,
yeah.
but because we had like 10, there were 10 lines of people.